Hi, it's Mary M. Axhelm. I'm doing lab number 4 for Biology 240, Physiology. And I want to get started. I want to show you that it is me really quick. Hi. Anyway, so I'm going to use a model here on a piece of paper to point out the different parts of the lymphatic organs that are on our bodies. This figure kind of looks like a male figure. However, there's no indication to show that it's male or female on this particular picture. So let's get started. I am going to point out, obviously they are also noted on this picture, but I wanted to be clear as to the location of each of these organs in the lymphatic system. So here we go. The first thing is, the first organ is going to be the thymus. And I'll zoom in on that. The thymus is located right here, kind of right in the center of the chest, a little bit higher. And that is part of the lymphatic system. All right, so I'm going to move on to tonsils. That would be right here. That is located in the back of the throat. So if you were to open your mouth and look in the back there are two little things that sort of surround the back of your mouth, kind of where the esophagus is, like on the sides, and those are your tonsils. And yes, you can see them if you open your mouth wide enough. I still have my tonsils, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. The next thing that I'd like to point out is the spleen, and that is located on the left side of the body. It's right here. It's somewhat under the liver. The liver, a larger portion of the liver is going to be on the right side, but the liver is still above the spleen. Okay. And from there, I would like to point out the appendix. So the appendix is listed right here, and the arrow points to here, and that would be located on the right side of your body, kind of right under the belly button area, but to the right. And that is your appendix. All right. The Peyer's patch right here is located on the small intestines. However, it's at the very base of the small intestines from what I read. So it's at the lower part of the small intestines in the body. Okay. And the next thing would be the cervical lymph node. That is located in the neck. And I went ahead and pointed that area out. There are different types of cervical lymph nodes, and those are all located in the neck area right here. Alrighty, and the last lymph node that you wanted us to point out was the auxiliary, I think I said that right, auxiliary, which would be the armpit area. So if you were to lift your arm, it is located right underneath the armpit. So those are the auxiliary lymph nodes. Sorry about that. Okay, and that's basically what you wanted us to point out in the video. The other thing in the next piece of information I'm going to go over is that I wanted to clarify on the cervical lymph nodes. There's the superficial cervical lymph nodes, which are kind of right under the ear area. There are the deep cervical lymph nodes, which are kind of like deep into the neck area here. And then there are the posterior cervical lymph nodes, which are kind of sort of in the back, but lower right here. And I would say that's sort of kind of in back of or near the clavicle on your body. Okay, so moving on. The direction of flow of the lymph nodes would be toward the throat. So the lymph nodes have valves actually in the vessels, just like blood veins do. However, the blood travels through your body in a loop. So it kind of goes round, you know, based on the heartbeat and the way that it goes through your body, and then it comes back around. The lymph nodes don't do that. They run parallel. The vessels run parallel to the blood, to the veins, but they do not loop around. So they continue on, and they flow in one direction. The flow is upward toward the neck, as I said. So the lymph is flowing upward toward the neck. Lymph flows from lymphatic vessels into what are called lymphatic trunks, okay? And from there, they flow into ducts that collect lymph, and then it's disposed into the subclavian veins, which would be around this area. The lymph run parallel to the blood capillaries in all the body tissues, as I mentioned. And the way that the lymph moves is there's a contraction of skeletal muscles. So it compresses the vessels and it squeezes the fluid along to make a flow. It flows ultimately into a major vessel, the thoracic duct. And that's about as much information as I can give based on what you requested. So I just want to say thank you and have a nice evening.